that. As you might know that I'm a long-time DZO Vespid owner, so I was pretty intrigued when I heard about these Thypoch Simera C lenses, and honestly these lenses will replace all my other lenses. Why is that? You're gonna find out in this video. Coming up. Hi guys, my name is Paul. I'm a German-based cinematographer and this channel is all about filmmaking, gear reviews, but also DaVinci Resolve tutorials. So if that's something that you're interested in, then consider subscribe to. Don't miss anything on the upcoming content here on the channel. Thank you. So first of all, if you don't know what or who Thypoch is, it's basically a sister brand of DZO Film, and it's something like you all know DZO Film by now, I think, and that's already what you kind of expect from these lenses. So from the build quality wise, this is really aluminum, and also the focus gears and everything, it feels really nice. There's a nice resistance and everything, and yeah, this is really great. And also from the design with the all black and then the yellow markings, it kind of also reminds you on the DZO Vespid lenses. So yeah, but what is really remarkable is, as you can see here, the fit into my hand is how small and also how lightweight these Thypoch lenses are. I have the 21, the 28, the 35, the 50 and the 75. So 5 lens set. So this is really cool. And as I've said, they're just really small. And this is something that I really like. They come in RFE, L mount, and also I would consider taking the M mount, which I have here. You can buy the adapters from Thypoch, which are also locking, so they're really great. So you can adapt them to pretty much any camera, and I also could adapt them to my red DSM-C2 Dragon. So also that was no issue. So these lenses are really great, and just to clarify, if they would have chosen an EF or PL mount, they couldn't made this lenses or the mount so small as they did like here. So they really went into this compact design, which I really appreciate. One thing that's also really remarkable about these lenses is that they all have a declicked aperture of T1.5, so really fast lenses, really good in low light. Now, talking a little bit more about the consistency about all these lenses, you can see they're all pretty much the same, except the 75 is a little bit bigger, but as you can see here, the focus and iris gears are always on the same spot. So this is nice. One thing that I didn't like too much is that the front diameter was different. So here it's the 62 millimeter and here's a 67 millimeter. So I would have much preferred if that would have been like consistent, but unfortunately it isn't. I think the most important aspect when buying new lenses is the look out of the lenses, and these ones definitely fell into the direction of that they have character. Also, when you know my review about DZO Vespid primes, I also said like they have character, but I would say these ones are definitely a step more into the character and vintage direction. So you can see it in the bokeh, which looks like kind of swirly, and I really liked the image out of it. So honestly, the flares and everything is really great. They also have a pretty hefty vignette, especially the 21. So it goes down if you stop down a little bit, but you always have like this vignette. So this is something that you have to be aware of. They also have some focus breathing, which I didn't find too distracting, to be honest. And also like the chromatic aberrations, everything is like already there. But for me personally, I like how the lenses render the image. But you can see throughout all these images that they tend to be on the cooler side, especially when compared now here to the Vespids. And you also see that compared to the Vespids, they are a little bit wider when it comes to that. And also, I think the T1.5 is like a real deal here. But also, what I have to say is that at some points, especially in the 21, that the vignette is so hard that the extra stop of light that you gain doesn't feel like an extra stop of light, because the corners and everything is still so dark. So therefore, this is probably the biggest issue for me, is the vignette, but it's something that you have to take into account, and it's something that you have to embrace if you want to work with these lenses. Now let's talk about the prices and also the lens availability and also the set. So currently, as of right now, 2025 August, there's just a 5 lens set in like a silver case, which looks kind of cool. But personally, I would have wished for a little more focal ranges, like a wider one and then also a tighter one. Maybe Thypoch will add them in the future. I don't know for now. But for the price that you pay, for around 700 to 800 bucks per lens, which is an insane deal. Honestly, for those lenses. But I will say, small lenses, they not always have like advantages, they also have some like disadvantages, because if you want to rig your camera out, you have it on the front of your lens, and you want to add a matte box, and then you also want to add a follow focus and stuff like that, there is really not much space between your camera and then here like the matte box and everything like that. So in some points, definitely didn't had an issue with an electronic focus motor, but I had an issue with my manual follow focus. So that's something that you have to be considered. So if you want to work with these small lenses, and I think that's something that is important to point out here. But other than that, since most of my clients don't notice the difference anyway if I'm shooting on the Vespids or anything like that, I feel like those make my life so much more easier, that I will say that I will sell my DZO Vespid primes and will still working with those 5 lenses as my prime set for now on. And also I think they match pretty great with the contact size, the vintage lenses that I have, and also then I just have the anamorphics, and I think for most of the stuff that we do, that's more than enough. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about these lenses. Do you like them? What is your take on that one? Just let me know in the comments below, and I'm gonna see you in my next one. Cheers!